Welcome to this training on the Sunrise HBM. Warning: it is the owner and operator's responsibility to always read all warning labels and the complete manual prior to operation. Failure to properly follow all safety procedures may result in serious injury. Always remember to lock out the machine prior to service. With that in mind, let's dive into the Sunrise horizontal bender training video for models HBM45, HBM82, and CNC. The HBM features a touchscreen controller with a 50 program memory. Each program features up to 10 different steps, and each step has a forward and back position. As you can see, the display features a piece counter, a setup screen, and a CP button, which allows you to record the current position of the RAM, which is incredibly helpful. As you can see on the knob on the lower left of the screen, the machine features a normal, continuous, and jog function. Continuous allows you to do loops of any program you've created, while jog mode allows you to position the tooling and set up and adjust any new tooling you've installed, which is a very useful functionality. And normal mode is, well, normal, where the machine will go through the entire sequence of each step independently. With this machine, both a hand control and a foot control are included. And moving down below the screen, another helpful feature the machine includes is a pressure adjustment gauge. Now let's review Sunrise HBM programming for models HBM45, HBM82 manual back gauge. The manual versions of the Sunrise horizontal bender, both the HBM45 and the HBM82, feature a touchscreen controller, as you can see here. This controller also has a 50 program memory. The controller is programmed easily by simply pressing the program number, which will then bring up the ability to choose any one of the 50 programs that you've set. As you can see over to the right of the program number, there are also plus and minus buttons. These allow you to conveniently scroll through your pre-programmed programs. And once you have determined which program you want to write, you can then continue below to the next field, which is the step field. Important to note, there are 10 steps for each program. If you click on the step number, that will conveniently allow you to type in the next step to go to. Or instead, you can hit the plus or minus button, which will allow you to scroll through all 10 steps. To the right of the step field is the end button. This signifies to the controller which step you want to end the program with. For example, if you have written a program that has 5 steps, then you should choose number 5 as the end step, so that way all steps are run. If for any reason you want to shorten the program and not run all of the steps written into the program, then you can easily change this here to end the program on any of the written steps in that program. Maybe, for example, your part has 4 bends, or 4 steps for most of the parts that you want to run. Therefore, in this example, you would leave the end step at 4. Maybe some of those parts only get 2 bends. So then you could easily change the steps to end at number 2. Moving below to the next field options, each step has both a back and a forward position. The back position is where the controller will send the RAM before the step begins. In contrast, the forward position is how far the stroke on the RAM will get to before it retracts backwards to the back position. This is important to note. So each step has a forward and back position. Also very important to keep in mind, the CP button stands for current position. That is the current position of the RAM. However, if you turn the switch to jog mode, You can then jog the ram forward to your desired bend, and then simply hit the CP button. And by doing so, this will save the current position of the ram. Please remember, when doing this, you must hit the save button before changing to the next step or changing to the next program. All right, let's review Sunrise HBM CNC programming. If you have the optionally available CNC back gauge, you'll likely notice that the screen is larger. You still have all of the exact same features, but now you also have a few additional options, such as NC Calibrate, NC Gauge Off, and NC Start buttons. In addition, with the CNC back gauge option, when you are programming, you will see that you have the back position, the forward position, and additionally, the gauge position. The gauge position is where the back gauge will automatically travel to at the start of that step. Additionally, the gauge has an automatic retraction step, which is pre-programmed to be 4 inches. Note that you can of course change the automatic retraction to be shorter or longer, depending on your needs in the setup field. Please note, this is important. You should always calibrate the NC controller prior to programming and prior to running your material. By pressing the NC Calibrate button, this will bring up the calibration screen. And once it is calibrated, you should press the NC Off button until it illuminates NC Gauge On. Now, when you are ready to run your file or program, you'll then want to press the NC Start button. And that will then send the gauge to the starting position of the first step of the program you've selected. Please note that if you do not turn the NC Gauge on, calibrate, or hit NC Start, the NC Gauge will not operate during that program. Also, you'll want to be mindful that the NC Gauge moves automatically and moves at the conclusion of the bend. All right, let's now look at standard bending die removal for these models. The HBM 45, HBM 82, and both CNC versions come standard with a 3-inch single V bending punch. Keep in mind that the 3-inch single V bending punch can be removed. Simply remove the Allen head bolts and nuts on the side of the die. For your convenience, the die can be interchanged. You can easily swap it for numerous other tool sets that are available, including multi-sided dies for thin gauge material and larger single V opening dies for other material. As you can see, this is super simple and convenient. Now let's take a look at standard bending die insertion. As you can see, you can easily insert the die. Make sure that it is snug. This may take a little pressure. And then using the Allen wrench, simply tighten the bolts. Start from the top and bottom, and then secure the middle. Remember to align the die to the holder squarely. For best results, always check the alignment of the punch, die, and table prior to running your program. And once you've checked the alignment, make sure to tighten everything securely. Now let's learn more about the manual back gauge. The standard HBM machines come with a manual back gauge that is manually positioned to a fixed position. For example, as you can see here. Now let's explore a little bit more about the bending punch. On the side of all of the machines, there is a locking mechanism. This serves to unlock the center tool. Once the center tool is unlocked, You can then use a hoist to lift the center tool out of its position. Once the center tool is lifted out, you can rotate it 180 degrees to then use different insert tooling. This, of course, adds to the functionality of the machine. Always make sure that the insert tooling is properly tightened. Now let's explore fixture pins. Both versions of the horizontal bender include multiple fixture points. These can help accommodate a variety of optional equipment, including, for example, plate shearing tool, plate bending tool, and many other optional custom tools. And now let's talk a little bit about service and maintenance for these machines. The maintenance on your Sunrise horizontal bender is actually very simple. There is one Xerx grease fitting that lubricates the side of the ram, and also a manual, toolbox, electrical, and hydraulic schematics, all for your reference. Thank you for watching this tutorial, and we're here to answer any questions you may have.